Hey, boys and girls. Today we are reading our last article from our Time for Kids. We're going to be reading from the back cover, the article back here entitled um, A New View of the Frontier. Um, this article is about a book written by Linda Sue Park, who's one of my favorite authors. She wrote A Long Walk to Water, which I had hoped for us to read later this year, but I'm not sure if that'll happen or not. We'll see. And she wrote A Single Shard, and They Call Me Kiko. She's a really amazing writer who writes really in-depth and challenging books that make you think. And so we're going to get to talk a little bit about her book, a new book she has written, which I am very excited about, and hopefully some of you will decide to read. All right, here we go. In 1880, a 14-year-old Hannah is beginning a new life with her father in a small town of LaForge in the Dakota Territory. But the townspeople are not happy with their arrival. Hannah is half Asian, and the locals reject her because of her race. That's sad. In Prairie Lotus, a work of historical fiction, there's your genre, Hannah must persevere in order to achieve her goals. She wants to go to school, work in her father's shop as a dressmaker, and find a friend. Newbery Medal winning author Linda Sue Park says Prairie Lotus was inspired by the Little House on the Prairie series by Laura Ingalls Wilder. I wanted to preserve what I love about those books, Park told TFK, but wanted to tell the story through a different lens. All right, so these Little House on the Prairie. This is my book that when I read this whole series, and I still have them all down in my basement because I loved them so much. And if you haven't read them and you're looking for a good series to read while we're stuck in all this homebound, I highly recommend these. They're awesome. There's also another series by Louise Erdrich, which tells a similar kind of story, but from the point of view of a Native American, and they're amazing as well. I actually have those in my class library, but we can't get there. This tells it from even a different lens, from that of a girl who is Asian and has moved to the Dakota Territory and needs to persevere, as we all do, and faces some challenges. So this book looks really awesome, and I can't wait to get it for my class library for next year. But I want you to think about these different, we've talked a lot this year about perspectives, right? So we have this book, and The Little House on the Prairie, which is about the perspective of a white pioneer during the 1800s who was living out in the prairies, right? And then I was talking about Louise Erdrich's book, which is about told from the perspective of a Native American during the same time period. And then we have this book here, the Prairie Lotus, which is told from the perspective of a Asian American during the same time period. So we have similar place location as far as the setting and the time, right? The place and the time as far as the setting are similar in all three of these series. So what does it add to for Linda Sue Park to write this from this different lens? If we look at this last sentence, she says, but I wanted to tell the story through a different lens. Ponder that. Let me know what you think, boys and girls.